It's Thursday, May 28th, and here are your latest updates. UAE leaders continue to exchange Eid al-Adha greetings, wishing continued prosperity, security, and blessings for nations and people around the world. Meanwhile, Kuwait has activated its air defense systems following reported missile and drone threats early this morning. Regional authorities remain on high alert as global attention turns to the potential impact on security and international markets. In Kenya, at least 10 students were killed after a dormitory fire broke out at a girls' academy in the central region of Nakuru. Police say the fire started at around 1 a.m. Emergency teams continue search and rescue operations. Other students have since been evacuated. And in the UAE, new laws changing the legal age of adulthood are set to take effect from Monday, June the 1st. Under the changes, individuals aged 18 and above will generally have full legal capacity for most civil and financial matters without requiring approval from a parent, guardian,
It's been 2 weeks since the bodies of 3 sisters were found in the sea in Brighton in the early hours. This is what we know so far. Jane Adatoro was 36, Christina Walters was 32, and Rebecca Walters was 31. All 3 lived in London. This is a picture of the sisters as teenagers with their dad, Joseph. He's described feeling unbearable grief and said no words can truly describe the pain of losing 3 daughters in the prime of their lives. A fundraiser by the family for Jane, Christina and Rebecca has raised more than £40,000. It took a week before the women were formally identified, and police said they had to carry out extensive inquiries to do that. So far, detectives have reviewed hundreds of hours of CCTV footage. They've also asked anyone who might have seen the sisters between 10 o'clock the night before they were found to just before the emergency call.
The U.S. military shot down multiple drones in southern Iran on Wednesday. A U.S. official telling me they were Iranian one-way attack drones, 4 of them that the U.S. shot down, and that they also hit a ground control station in Bandar Abbas that was trying to launch a 5th drone. This U.S. official described these actions as measured, purely defensive, and intended to maintain the ceasefire. This is the second time the U.S. has launched military action near the Strait of Hormuz this week. On Monday, the U.S. launched what they called self-defensive strikes on mine-laying boats and missile launch sites. Iran has said those strikes violated the ceasefire and ultimately vowed retaliation. This all playing out while the U.S. and Iran are negotiating on some kind of deal, and President Trump was in the cabinet room today here at the White House sounding pretty unhappy with how those negotiations are progressing and even threatening restarting that military action by the United States in Iran.
A new option to screen for a cancer that's been rising in younger ages is now on the table. For the first time, the American Cancer Society has included a blood test in its screening guideline. Now, getting a colonoscopy is still the gold standard, but the American Cancer Society now says that for people who decline or simply can't get visual exams like a colonoscopy or a stool test, then a blood test is recommended, since that person otherwise wouldn't be screened at all. And with blood testing, it's recommended to be done every 3 years. It involves having your blood drawn, then in a lab, the blood is tested for signals for colorectal cancer from tumor DNA that may have shed into your blood. If the test comes back positive, then a colonoscopy is recommended. Again, the American Cancer Society says the preferred tests for screening are visual exams like colonoscopy, virtual colonoscopy, or flexible sigmoidoscopy.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard has said it's targeted an American airbase after a U.S. attack overnight near one of its coastal airports. Now, the IRGC did not say which U.S. base it had targeted, but warned of a more decisive response to come.
As I've said 1,000 times, the Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, everything's gone, and they're negotiating on fumes.
That was President Trump's claims at yesterday's White House cabinet meeting.
But this morning, Iran says it fired at a U.S. airbase. In retaliation, Tehran said, for a U.S. strike overnight near Bandar Abbas Airport on its western coast. Kuwait, which hosts a large U.S. Army base, today said it intercepted missile and drone threats without saying where it came from. The flare-up follows the Pentagon's announcement on Monday U.S. forces carried out, quote, defensive strikes on Iranian missile launch sites and mine lane boats in southern Iran. Iranian state TV later broadcast this video of
a massive fireball rips into the sky over the city of Tyre as Israel intensifies its bombing campaign across southern Lebanon and beyond.
We are deepening our operation in Lebanon. The IDF is operating with large forces on the ground and is taking control of strategic areas.
Israel recently issued evacuation warnings for Tyre and the city of Nabatea, both of which are north of the Israeli-occupied zone in southern Lebanon. And Israel has carried out waves of strikes in southern Lebanon and the Bekaa Valley. Israel says it's targeting Hezbollah military infrastructure and militants. On Wednesday, the Lebanese Ministry of Public Health says Israeli strikes killed at least 34 people. That is one of the deadliest days in Lebanon since the ceasefire went into effect in April. Meanwhile, Hezbollah has kept up a steady barrage of explosive drones fired at Israeli forces in northern Israel and southern Lebanon. On Wednesday, a Hezbollah attack killed a female soldier, the first since the start of the war with Iran.
Iran's internet was shut down for 88 days. Now it's starting to come back.
How are you feeling being connected?
I feel like I'm coming out of prison and I feel like I'm born again.
It's been the longest running national internet shutdown ever recorded worldwide. That's according to internet monitoring group NetBlocks. Although the internet has been partly restored, it said the restoration is basically in a holding pattern, neither cut off nor fully returned. Compare the beginning of the year at normal levels to this. It was first shut down after the Iranian government cracked down violently on nationwide protests. And you can see when it did return, it still wasn't back to normal levels. Then, when the US-Israel war with Iran began, Iran cut off the internet again. But some Iranians have managed to find a way around the restrictions using expensive VPNs or smuggling satellite technology like Starlink into the country, both of which are illegal and punishable by prison time. And even if some internet access is back, things like what
questions swirling around peace talks with Iran. We're still trying to figure out if Trump is edging any closer to an agreement to end hostilities in the region and reopen the Strait of Hormuz while opening up discussions about Tehran's nuclear program. The White House throwing cold water on a report from Iranian state TV about this memo that says the U.S. would withdraw its military and lift the blockade in exchange for reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Here's our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, questioning the president about the future of the strait.
Iran wants control of the Strait of Hormuz. Would you accept a short-term deal that allows Iran and Oman to control the strait? And would they have to open it immediately, or would you be open to that happening over a period of time?
No, the strait's going to be open to everybody.
And who would control it?
It's international waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiation that we have. They would like to control it. Nobody's going to control it. It's international waters, and Oman will behave.
Next tonight, a new investigation underway involving Polymarket and alleged insider trading of information. A Google engineer is accused of making more than $1 million by placing bets on what users were searching for on Google, confidential data he had access to. It's just the latest in a growing number of similar cases. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky.
Every year, Google reveals its top searched person, and tonight a Google employee who authorities say already knew who it was is charged with placing fraudulent bets that netted him more than $1 million. Federal prosecutors say Michelle Spagnolo's job as a software engineer gave him access to confidential data showing the singer known as David would be Google's most searched person of 2025. They allege he then used that information to place a series of Google-related bets on Polymarket, a prediction market platform, under the name Alpha Raccoon. At the time that bet was placed, federal prosecutors say Polymarket assigned a near zero probability to David being the...
It's the biggest stage in the world for a singer-songwriter, having your song associated with the FIFA World Cup.
And that's a dream come true for a local musician named I. CTV's Andrea Case has his story and a surprise collaboration.
I attend these gatherings every night because I believe that by being here, we send a message to our enemies and prove that we will stand by our country until the very last drop of our blood.
We're flying into Iran with our official documents, with the approval of the Iranian government, but I'm very aware that we can't work like we would in other countries. We can't film whatever we want and we can't interview whoever we want because there are very serious security concerns, and this is certainly going to impact our coverage. We're really not sure what we're walking into, but we still think it's really important to report on this conflict from inside, hopefully to get a clearer, more accurate picture of what's going on.
We're closing out our first day in Tehran at Angalab Square. This is Revolution Square. And as you can see around me, this is where hundreds of Iranians have been gathering every single night since the war began to show their...
Best atmosphere you played in?
I'd say probably PSG or Real Madrid away last season.
Best goal you scored for Arsenal?
My goal against Man United.
One hell end player to watch?
Max Dallman.
To me, beast mode means defy the limitations people put on you. And nobody can be you or do you better than you. I'll flip it to you on the spot. What does beast mode mean to you?
Unstoppable.
I like that. All right. And what's the best piece of advice a coach has ever given to you?
You don't shoot, you don't score.
We don't like war. We don't seek conflict with the United States. We hope it is prevented because we don't see any reason why Cubans and Americans should die. Because there would be thousands of deaths if there is an aggression, and there will be a lot of destruction. And it doesn't have any sense, so.
When you say Americans shouldn't die as well, what is it that Cuba is prepared to do? I mean, President Diaz-Canel has said that Cuba will respond if there's U.S. military action. He said, we'll defend ourselves. If we need to die, we'll die. Is Cuba prepared to strike U.S. targets if there's U.S. military action?
Cuba will defend itself. So I'm sure that the American people, who is about to celebrate in a little bit more than a month, 250th anniversary of its independence, will perfectly understand why Cubans are determined to defend.
Hi guys, Theo Walker here. I'm just going to be giving you my combined 11 for the current Arsenal team and the Invincibles. So in goal, I'm going to go with David Raya. I feel like Jens Lehmann would kill me right now, but David Raya for me would get in. He's probably the best goalkeeper in the world football for me. Right back, Timber. I think Lauren and Timber are quite similar. Again, Lauren would kill me as well. He's athletic for me, a bit more athletic than Lauren. Centre backs though, for me, Sol Campbell, he's straight in. He's probably the all-time Premier League best centre back of all time for me. Saliba gets in next to him, then I'm going Ashley Cole. I mean, I played against Ashley Cole every day of my life, and again, getting tested against one of the best left backs around is hard to deal with. In midfield, Patrick Vieira, of course, is ahead of Declan Rice, I'm afraid. So I'm going to go with Gilberto ahead of Zubamendi. On the right, it's either Saka or Freddie Ljungberg. I love Freddie Ljungberg. Starboy's in for me. Bukayo Saka, what I want from my right player is an inverted winger, so he has to be in for me.
Why are so many people around the world celebrating Arsenal's Premier League title? Kenya, New York, Uganda. The government of Botswana had to officially clarify in capital letters that there was no public holiday for Arsenal fans. So how did a club from North London become a global movement, especially across Africa? It starts in the late 90s and early 2000s when football and globalization coalesced. Satellite TV, instant messenger, forget postcards, communication across the globe was faster than ever, and the madness of football spread even faster. The Premier League was hitting its prime, and one of the teams at the forefront was Arsenal. Wenger arrived and transformed English football, and he did it with players who won in style. Bergkamp, Wright, Vieira, Harler, Adams, Pires, Touré, Ljungberg, Thierry Henry. Those teams had swagger and street cred, especially the Invincibles. Here's the thing. A lot of these players